Schultz and Charlamagne arguing about who's bigger, Rogan or Charlamagne.
Rogan or Charlamagne?
That's what I watched.
Was that a real argument?
A real one?
That's what I watched.
Yo, that's that old age catching up to you, nigga. Stop it. Nah.
Yo, Stick said that.
What was the conversation about?
I almost want to find it on YouTube so you can hear it, but that was the exact conversation. Schultz was saying,
can I ask you a question?
Joe Rogan is the biggest platform moving. And then Charlamagne said,
oh, I did see that.
Bigger than who?
Where he said, what he was saying the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I disagree with that one.
I disagree too.
You disagree with whose side?
Joe Rogan is the biggest thing in the world.
Clearly.
Mm-hmm. The end. I don't care what
I think Joe Rogan is.
I don't care what anybody's metrics say.
I think he's basically like a late night TV show, man. Like it's different. It's
different stratosphere.
Mm-hmm.
I don't count him, and that's like you counting Stern. It's like it's different. But I mean, I'll tell you what I pulled from it later. It's rather interesting.
And also, you got to realize Schultz is in the podcast lane. So, like, he's a podcast comedy, which, by the way, I've seen it.
Don't cape for your man. Don't cape for your man now.
Well, I've always said he's building in a lane to be, like, some of that hip-hop-y shit, I think he was a little bit more catering to culture. Man, he's UFC, that's Rogan. UFC, all these other things, and I think it's smart. I think it's a great way to get.
It's super smart.
It's a great way to get audience.
It is super smart.
Because here's the thing, this is what all of us hip-hop platforms suffer from. Like, there is a ceiling on hip-hop. The amount of people who want to consume content related to music. Some people, everybody listens to music, but content related to music,
it's not a lot.
There's a ceiling on it,
not a
right?
lot, but it's, right. I'm rolling.
And when you inevitably, or when you're a hip-hop platform, you kind of, it's hard to break out of that because people say, no, stay in lane, you're the hip-hop guy. When you kind of, I won't say least, but like you kind of dibble and dabble into it, but also you're into all these other subcultures, that's how you become Rogan, right? Where, hey, all you guys who are into, fitness and MMA, come over here.
Yeah,
I
got
talk some
something for you here
sports.
too.
Hey, y'all political niggas, come over here too, man. We got you. Oh, y'all want jokes? We gonna definitely have everything full of jokes. Sure. I look at that and I was like, because if you look at how, there was a time where I thought that Brilliant Idiots was a better performing podcast than Flagrant 2. And
maybe it was at one point.
Maybe
it was at one point.
Flagrant 2 outperforms pretty much all hip hop. I only always look at Spotify.
Let me ask you a question.
Charts. So it outperforms all hip hop podcasts.
Let me ask you a question. What you said, I totally agree with. Right? Do you think color plays a part in that?
Well, absolutely.
So with that being said, like at one point, Joe and I had a conversation. This was years ago. I wasn't even remotely thinking about podcasting. And I told Joe, you could be the next Arsenio Hall.
Yeah.
Right? Because you have the ability to transcend any demo. Right? Like if he on a silly shit, he could be a silly shit. He can interview the white people. He can interview the white pop artists. He could do all of those things. I think that in the white...
See you, Steve Mann joint, man.
Oh, thank you, man.
Come on, man.
I think in a white space, it's easier to grab Kelly Clarkson. She's comfortable coming to sit with you. You get what I'm saying? It ain't that many black Kelly Clarksons.
And then Clarkson also has a new show.
And then even when the black artists get to a certain level, and this is what all the black podcasters are talking about now, when you get to a certain level, they apprehensive to come sit on the couch. On they rise, they'll come sit on the couch.
Yeah, that's true.
But once you get to a certain level, they apprehensive. Yeah, they
now they want to run and shoot.
They'll go fuck with Leno.
Fact. Yeah. I always said it's more valuable to me talking about him than talking to you.
That's unfortunate.
I always say that in the opposite way. I'm like, yo, listen, if I can't talk to you, shit, I could make more money talking about you.
What I'm saying to you is this about the Schultz-Charlamagne argument.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe, and then I'm moving off of you. Anytime you come here, I talk about a bunch of niggas. I don't ever talk about this part. But if I pour 1,000% of me into you to build you up and build you up and build you up, because I have been the bigger person with the bigger light and platform to be able to do that, and it then starts to work, and then you move on to greener pastures.
Okay.
Don't come back to me 9 years later and tell me about how your new best friend is so much bigger than me.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Budden.